Shama no Shama, UFC 320, Ankalaev versus Pereira, and then Marab versus Corey Sandhagen in the co-main. Most excited I've been for a card since starting this channel. To be fair, we've only done fight nights, and you know, we haven't had any. I mean, Diego Lopez is one of my guys, but you know what I mean. This is Alex Pereira is a different level. Anybody who knows me personally knows this is one of my guys. I love Alex Pereira. He's one of my two favorite fighters, him and Charles. So this is a massive deal. We're getting the belt back. I guess you'll kind of see my prediction for that fight by the end of this video. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into this banger of a card. We have so many great fights. And we're going to have a really great video. It might be decently long, but as you know, timestamps are going to be there. So you could jump to the main card if you don't care. And again, we're starting off with a banger women's fight. Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. And honestly, next to Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev, this might be my second favorite fight on this card. And we also got to turn things around. We went 0 for 2 on the last card with picking women's fights at UFC Perth. So we got to get something right for the women. That's how we're going to do. And we're going to take just the big favorite, Veronica Hardy. This is going to be a classic women's MMA fight. 29-20 decision. Nothing super exciting. Veronica Hardy, she's a smarter fighter. Brogan Walker, she's 0-2 in the UFC. Hardy has good technique. She's also younger by, I think, 7 years. And Brogan Walker's done absolutely nothing. She's done jack shit. And Hardy has some finishing potential. 29-20 at Hardy. We're not going to spend too much time on that one, but let's get some wins for the women. You know what I'm saying? Next up on the card, we have Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. They've done a lot of shuffling on this card in terms of the order. I think this fight's still the same. I think Brahimaj, he was, I think this was a closer fight, at least in terms of betting wise, and then it's kind of spread out more, as I think more and more people have talked on to Vanderford. But I think this is kind of a 50-50 fight. I'm leaning towards Vanderford. He was a former middleweight, and he was a guy before in the UFC, was a Bellator guy, and he actually beat people in Bellator. He has a win over Fabian Edwards. He was good in the Contender Series, showed some good heart, and he beat what's his face, Nikolai Veretennikov, who was above him on this card for some reason. I mean, you beat the guy, you know, classic UFC shit card order. Actually, that still might not be right. I'm just going off what Tapology says, but he was ahead of him. He's a wrestler. He's going to have good physicality. He's going to, you know, push the pace through his grappling. And Ramiz is a guy who has great finishing power potential. He's got good KO power, and he had a nice, really nasty standing guillotine over Billy Ray Goff in his last fight. So that was a good win for him. And he has good moments, but they're against all NPCs of the welterweight division. And again, usually in some of these prelims fights, I just lean with the dude who has grappling, even if I want to pick the striker. But again, Vanderford, he's going to have the massive grappling advantage. Brahimaj is kind of struggled against heavy grapplers. Like, he got out grappled by what's his face, Court McGee. And that, you should never get out grappled by that old fuck. And that scares me. And Austin Vanderford, I also think at a point is either get him up against the cage or get him on the ground. He's just going to have a ton of control time. But his striking's like not great. And his chin is kind of weak. And he's susceptible to getting hit. But yet again, if you have a grappling advantage over a guy who I don't particularly like, I'm just going to go with you. He also has good ground and pound. And he's more complete, more physical. He's going to survive. I'm going to go Vanderford by decision. Not exactly the most interesting start, but whatever. This wouldn't be a fight I would be picking anybody to get a finish off of. Unless it's Brahimaj. If you want like a little bit of plus money, maybe throw something on like Brahimaj to get a finish. That's what I would say. But I'm not picking him, so up the card we go to a bantamweight fight between Farid Basharat versus Chris Gutierrez. Basharat has a brother who's worse, and he's from Afghanistan. So good for him. We get a little bit of Middle Eastern flair in this card. Dude, where the fuck did I put this? Where did I put this? Where did I put this fight? I don't know. Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry, my computer was lagging for a second there. Gutierrez is really just gonna flick fucking leg kicks. He sucks. There's a reason why he's a plus 370 dog. Don't take him in this fight. Basharat's gonna take him down. This fight I think is gonna be pretty boring. Chris Gutierrez can't grapple whatsoever, but Farid Basharat, he can't throw a punch really. He could throw a kick some range. But again, he's going to do more to win. He's just going to mix in his takedowns. He'll do work in the clinch. He's going to out-grapple him. I mean, he also out-grappled, what's his face? Damon Blackshear, who's a name. Lost to Davey Grant. I picked Blackshear. He fucking lost that one. He's going to choose his spots. Well, he's going to know kind of when to shoot a takedown, when to flick a leg kick. He also beat Victor Hugo, which is a okay win. And Gutierrez has been getting dropped and controlled a lot recently, and he can't wrestle. So I'm just going to go with Basharat due to his offensive grappling. Nothing super interesting about this fight. Free Basharat, he's just kind of whatever. He's just a little fucking ball of meat. You know what I mean? Now, speaking of fucking bangers, if you thought I was excited for Veronica Hardy versus Broken Walker, I'm even more excited for 5th ranked, what are these guys? Bantamweights? I know it's a catch weight because she missed weight by I think 2 pounds. But yeah, 5th ranked bantamweight versus Yana Santos. I don't know if you can hear that fucking car going off in the background, but that's besides the point. Yana Santos, she sucks. Yana Foxy Santos, what a shitbag. She kind of looks like a porn star, Yana Santos. I'll say that about her. Not that means anything whatsoever, but I'm gonna go Macy Chiasson by unanimous decision. Yana Santos absolutely sucks. She did beat Misha Tate when she was absolutely washed though, but she does nothing special. Macy has fought some talented women, and she kind of looks like a dude too, so maybe that kind of also influences me in picking her. And she's a tough looking woman. You look at her, you're like, she could take you down at a cardio kickboxing class. So we'll take Macy Chiasson by unanimous decision. Again, boring start to the card, but we're gonna pick. There's a finish happening here. Puna Soriano versus Nikolai Veretennikov. Veretennikov really has no is this even a picture of him? I swear that's a different dude. I don't even think that's him. Maybe it is. But Punahele Soriano, he's got nice KO power. He's also from Hawaii in the UFC. They would love for a Hawaiian to kind of get back on top. He's got more UFC experience than Veretennikov. I also don't know why Veretennikov's above Vanderford on the card. He literally lost to him. But Veretennikov looks shaky against a small midget in Francisco Prado for a welterweight, a midget. And he also has negative fight IQ and can't wrestle. He's primarily a striker. But Soriano's a bruiser, bro. Like, he'll fuck you up. And he has finishing ability. And he beat Uros Medic back in January, who is at least a name and is decent. He's just going to put a lot of pressure on Nikolai. And Nikolai's heavy on the back foot and stands very upright. I don't know why I'm putting my hands up like that. But Soriano's going to catch him. And I think he's going to get this done by round 2. Knockout. He'll get up the middle and just fucking crush Nikolai Veretennikov's face. But I could see a world, I guess, where Veretennikov uses his length. I think he has a 2-inch height advantage and kind of prolongs the fight out, but then loses like a 30-27 decision. But fuck, who wants to pick decisions, really? If there's a finish available, I'm gonna pick it. We root for finishes in this house, and we want early finishes too. None of that late shit. We finish early in this house. So we'll go Punahele Soriano by round 2 TKO. Moving up the card, we go to our boy Edmund Shahbazyan versus Andre Muniz. Anybody knows Edmund Shahbazyan, it's kind of boom or bust with this guy. He's either going to get a nasty early knockout or get fucking killed by the end of the fight, usually around round 3. So I'm kind of leaning Shahbazyan by knockout in the round 2. Edmund Shahbazyan just beat our boy Andre Prochazka, who absolutely looked like shit against what is his name, Cam Rouston at UFC Perth. And Muniz, I would definitely say, is better than Andre Prochazka, and he can grapple. But Edmund, the real difference is he's a striker, and he has real KO power. He's fast on his feet. He has better pacing and cardio than Andre Muniz, who's just an old man. But Andre Muniz, I'll say this, has a reach advantage. And used to, really not anymore because he's old, but has looked good on the feet at times. And also recently beat Iron Turtle, which is a good win, and looked good on the feet there. But he got finished bad by, what's his name, Ikram Aliskerov. That was a couple months ago on that Prates versus Gary card. And he just got clipped with a jab and then fell. So, and Edmund Shahbazyan has more power than that. And he also got finished by Paul Craig, and not subbed by him. He got TKO lost to Paul Craig in 2023, which is pretty hard to do. And Paul Craig, anybody on this channel knows we're Paul Craig Glazers, but that's still insane that happened. But I'm leaning Shahbazyan by early round 1 KO. If it gets to round 3, then I'm worried for Edmund Shahbazyan. But it's not going to happen. He's going to get round 1 or round 2 knockout. And people forget, man, there was points when he fought Fluffy that he looked decent in and kind of had him until Fluffy destroyed him. But he's got good firepower. He also has kicks to the body, too, which will be utilized. But I'm going to take him where he's going to drop Andres Munoz sometime in the middle or early second round and finish him on the ground with punches. So we'll ride with our guy, Emmett Shahbazyan. And they move this guy up. Patchy Mix, Jakob Jacob, yeah, whatever. He's a KSW guy from Poland. Listen, man, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. Patchy Mix is going to have a masterclass in this one. I don't really know, when exactly he's going to finish Jacob, but it's going to happen. And I can't believe I just said the words Patchy Mix masterclass, because we all remember the Mario Batista fight where he looked like absolute shit, looked like the Tin Man on his feet, so fucking stiff as a fucking board. And at the moment we were all pissed because I don't think really everybody just hates Mario Batista because of Jose Aldo and kind of him just being an asshole. But now he's fighting Umar and maybe he beats Umar. That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to beat Umar, but that's a story for another day. We want Mario Batista to beat Umar, but whatever. Patchy Mix, he came to the UFC, was talking absolutely wild, saying he was going to be a marauder, man. He was going to be a marauder, and he was going to take the whole division down. People were saying he's going to be a threat to Marab, and I bought into the hype. I was like, look at his highlights. He looks decent. On the feet, he looked better in Bellator. He's got good jiu-jitsu. But then he just didn't do shit against Mario Batista. I don't even think he's that bad. I just think Mario Batista might actually just be that good. But, and he made me want to die because I was embarrassed. I told so many people to bet on him, and then he looked like absolute shit. But he survived, though. As much as you want to shit on Patchy Mix for looking like garbage in that fight, he has a good chin. He ate a lot of shots, showed some stuff in round 3. I'll say this, he's a warrior. That's all I'll say about him. Marauder is the right way. And again, Patchy Mix just is slow and stiff. But this Jakob whatever his name is, Massa, he's not even that. I didn't really even, the clips I've seen from him from KSW is like, he's nothing special. Like, he's got some quickness on his feet, but he's not like a great striker. He's primarily a grappler, jiu-jitsu guy, but he's not like a power grappler. He's not going to like out physical Patchy Mix. And Patchy Mix, man, he's got world-class jiu-jitsu, guys. I mean, that's what people forget, man. Patchy Mix, world-class jiu-jitsu. Don't fucking forget. He's doing different stuff, man, that Patchy Mix. But this guy, Jakob Wiklacz, he's like a worse version of Patchy Mix. He's not great on his feet, has good jiu-jitsu. But again, he's going to be nervous. It's his debut, and Patchy Mix already got those first-round nerves down. This is such a downgrading competition for Mario Batista that I'm like, how is Patchy Mix really going to lose this fight? And, if you're a viewer and you watch Patchy Mix's last fight in the UFC against Batista, you're just going to be like, he looked like shit. Why would you ever pick him? Dude, this guy is such a nobody. I'm not going to pick a nobody. He is better. Patchy Mix has better experience in Bellator. I guarantee he's still going to get pieced up on his feet because his striking is still awful. But I think Patchy will use his inside calf kicks well and disrupt kind of the game plan of Jakob Wiklacz. I mean, we've said his last name so many times we fucked it up. But again, I'm going to go Patchy Mix by finish. I don't really know what he's going to get. Some kind of submission. I'm going to say round 3 sub. I can't go 2 because 2 would be implying that I think... Now, 2 would be crazy. I would have needed to see more in his last fight. And whatever. I'm still picking him to win by submission. So Patchy Mix, I'm in your corner. I follow you on Instagram. You're one of my boys. Whatever. Moving up the card we go. And this is a real banger. Daniel Santos, who fights out of shootbox. So a Charles guy. And Ju Sang-yo, the young Korean zombie. This is a near even fight for a reason. Ju Sang-yo beat an absolute can. A guy who lost to what's his name? That Indian dude. What's his name? Not fucking Shamak. Not Shamak in USA. What's his name? Fuck. Hold on. I'm getting his name. I'm gonna look it up. Anshul Jubilee, who's one of the worst ever. He sucks. That Indian guy. But that KO that he had was so absolutely nasty that I'm picking him for this. Daniel Santos also missed weight. I mean, what was he moving up? He was moving up for from what? What is this? Fucking he was moving up from moving up to featherweight and then still missed weight by 8 pounds or whatever it was. So it's 153, which scares me. Yo has a speed advantage in this fight. He also has a striking advantage. Daniel Santos, though, is still solid, but and he has better grappling, and he's on a nice win streak. Beat a guy like John Castaneda, and he hasn't been KO'd, and he has more experience. I just named a bunch of reasons why you could pick him. But and he also beat the last Korean dude he faced. But he is chinny, like all these shootbox guys. They just plot in there with their fucking head up. They have great jiu-jitsu, and they can punch people in the face. But whatever. He's also a little bit undersized, and Yu is electric. I guess they're both 5'7", but the difference in reach is kind of what I mean by undersized. Yu is just electric. He's twitchy. It's going to be a good scrap. I think he's going to do more damage. I could see Santos kind of out-grappling Yu, but Yu's just a great counter striker, and he can avoid strikes of this fight. And I think Santos is going to get hit hard early, kind of like Charles-esque from Willie Cat. And I think Yo's going to do a good enough job defending the grappling, landing some nice shots off the back foot, and getting around 2 knockout. Because we want a Korean guy to be good. I want some sick Asian fighters. Because they need more of that, you know? We don't really have a Korean guy anymore. There's nobody from Japan. China, they have Zhang, but he's not even really that good. He's just kind of like a ranked light heavyweight. You know, he's nothing special. I would love for Joe Sang-Yo to be fucking legit. I mean, he's 31, so he's not that young. But fuck it, whatever. TKZ did a lot of work when he was old, too. And now the feature fight on the fucking prelims. And this one really needs zero analysis whatsoever. Ateba Gautier versus Tristan Vines in a middleweight fight. Gautier was supposed to fight, Ozzy Diaz? And he isn't fighting. And Ozzy Diaz, by doing that, was probably the smartest move you could ever do. Because it might have added 20 years to his life. He gets to spend Christmas with his kids. His kids rejoice because if he fought this fight, he would have died. It would have been awful. He would have ended up in a wheelchair and never been able to speak again. Tristan Vines, he's a LFA guy, PFL guy. He picked this fight on short notice within like 3 days. All 3 of his losses come in the first round. I think this fight's going to be ugly. If he survives 3 minutes, I'd consider that a win for Tristan Vines. You're going to just die to Baby Ngannou. And I can't wait till they start feeding Gautier like actual fucking actual people. Like, I'm excited to see this dude against legit people, but he's only 23. He's so young. I mean, sky's the limit for him. Baby Ngannou, watch this guy. He's must-watch TV, and he's going to put Tristan Vines out bad. And I feel bad for Tristan Vines. He seems like a nice guy. Seems respectful. They shook hands at the weigh-in, but it's going to be ugly. Ateba Gautier by round 1 knockout. Brutal highlight reel. Anyway, moving on to the main card. Here we fucking go. Joe fucking Pyfer. Turn the body cam off. Joe, turn the body cam off. Pyfer versus Abus Magomedov. Fucking Joe Pyfer, bro. He's so weird. This guy got a hair transplant and shaved his head. That should tell you the kind of guy that Joe Pyfer is. And he's an asshole. I only really like Joe Pyfer. I not really like him, but I kind of have respect for him because he's an asshole. His one loss, I think his only loss in UFC was against Jack Hermanson. He gassed himself out in there. He beat Kelvin Gastelum, but he really didn't even do anything in that. Abus Magomedov, he submitted Bruno Ferreira. And Joe Pyfer's only other losses are to Caio Baio and Sean Strickland. Right? But Pyfer has flaws in his game. Like, I don't really even think he's anything that special. But Abus Magomedov, his cardio is just so non-existent and so shit. Like, he's going to have to win this fight in the first round or maybe early second. And I just don't see that happening. Because I think Joe Pyfer is good enough to know that Abus Magomedov's gas tank sucks. I think he's going to stun him early. Abus, his kicks are going to be wild. Like, that's why in the first round, I wouldn't be surprised if you kind of just see a wild first round for these guys. So Abus Magomedov, he's throwing these crazy front kicks, side kicks, and hitting Pyfer pretty hard. But Pyfer has good conditioning. I think he's going to be able to apply a lot of pressure to Magomedov and find his chin. I could see a world where he gets beat up with low kicks, which would worry me because he doesn't really check any kicks. And again, you want to say something about Joe Pyfer. He has some decent wins. Like, he beat, GM3. He beat Kelvin, even though he didn't really do enough. And then Marc-Andre Barriot, who's really not that good, but he's a name. And he also beat Ozzy Diaz, who was supposed to be on this card, but then, dropped out. But, whatever. I still like this for Joe Pyfer to win. He's also a good grappler. He's more well-rounded. I'm going to go Joe turn the fucking the body cam off Pyfer in fucking round 2. I could see a world where this goes to a decision, but I think Pyfer's going to win this fight regardless. Because if it does end up to a decision, I can't imagine Magomedov doing shit in the third round. You know what I mean? I could just see Pyfer masterclass in the third round. That gets it done for him. And also, this guy acknowledged the body cam meme at the press conference. He's such a fucking cornball. I mean, you knew he was going to do it, but I don't really like this guy. I can't wait till he fights somebody I actually like. I don't really care about Abus Magomedov. So, you know, whatever. I'll just say Joe Pyfer is going to win this by round 2 KO. More well-rounded, better grappler. His cardio's better. He's going to find Magomedov's chin. Again, Abus Magomedov, you got to get fucking... We need you doing sprints in the German mountains or something. Whatever you're doing right now isn't good enough. Or maybe stop eating McDonald's. I don't know what your diet is, but figure it the fuck out. Whatever. Moving on. Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. Everybody personally knows... Anybody who knows me knows Josh Emmett's one of my guys. I love Josh Emmett. He looks like fucking Voldemort if he had a beard. In that picture, he kind of looks like a nice Voldemort. But he's fighting a Youssef Zalal guy who I don't like. I don't like Youssef Zalal whatsoever. Kind of annoying. He also said something along the lines that his mom was going to be watching him for the first time on Saturday at UFC 320, which worries me as a guy who's probably going to pick him for this because that just smells like getting flatline KO by a guy, Josh Emmett, who could do it with an overhand. But I think Zalal is kind of the safer pick. He kind of felt like a bitch against Calvin Kattar back in February. And this is like wash Calvin Kattar. But just Zalal does enough to win. He'll just kind of stay at range, fucking kick you. He's got good grappling. He also did say that if he wins this, he will 100% be in the title picture, which I mean, I guess. I don't really think beating Josh Emmett in 2025 is very impressive as a 29-year-old, and you're beating up on almost 41-year-old Josh Emmett. But whatever, what do I know? You know, I'm not a fighter. Youssef Zalal has good kicks. He has a good jab. And Josh Emmett's just fucking old. And that's kind of that's what I don't really love for Josh Emmett. But I will say one thing about Josh Emmett, even though I don't think he particularly has great grappling, and Zalal has good grappling, people forgot, man, he took down Lerone Murphy in his last fight. Like slammed him. It was like a Batista bomb kind of, or like a spine buster. It was impressive. But I think Zalal's just slicker. Josh Emmett's really not great at like cutting people off like on angles and stuff. And Zalal's faster. He's going to switch stances and he's slicker. I don't think he's going to get cut off by Josh Emmett, who's already not that good at doing it. But, and he's like a predictable striker. You know, he relies so much on these hooks and overhands. And it's not like he has elite level footwork either to like make up for that. But he does have great power. And he's going to throw these wide overhands. And he throw these left overhands. And I could see Youssef Zalal catching him at a certain point. Because it is possible. I think he's smart enough of a fighter to do it. But I don't even think we're going to see that many exchanges where it happens. At least early on. Maybe in round 3, Emmett kind of gets desperate and gets him up against the cage. Where he is good. Josh Emmett's good at getting guys against the cage and doing a lot of damage. And Youssef Zalal gets his back to the cage a lot. Which worries me in terms of Josh Emmett can definitely, you know, land an overhand and fucking get him. But I think, again, Youssef Zalal stays out of range. He's not going to get hurt. He's probably just going to jab most of this fight. He's a good jab. I think he'll use his wrestling well enough and be good enough in the grappling exchanges with Josh Emmett. That'll get him enough to win. I so badly want Josh Emmett to nuke this guy, though. Like, fucking overhand to death. And just all the TikTok edits of Josh Emmett. Maybe Josh Emmett is Voldemort. How cool would that be? I think Youssef Zalal by decision is the safest pick. If I were betting on this fight, I would say this. Pick one of these guys to get a finish if you just want, like, if you want to boost your parlay up. Because it could happen. If you really like Josh Emmett, he's already a plus 360 to win this. I don't even know what he is to KO him, but that's probably how he would win. I don't think he'd win this fight by decision. Youssef Zalal, I think, could catch Josh Emmett with like a knee or something up the middle if Josh Emmett overextends. And that's how I think he would win this by finish. But I think the safest pick is Youssef Zalal by unanimous decision. Really no money to be made there. But that's kind of where I'm leaning in terms of, I don't know. That's where I'm just kind of leaning. Youssef Zalal, I don't really fucking hate you. I hope you get nuked in this fight. But really, this is kind of the fight. This next fight, moving up the card. Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree. This is the fight kind of I'm most excited for. It's easily going to be fight of the night. Yuri hasn't fought since Jamal Hill, right? He beat Jamal Hill, knocked him out. And Khalil Rountree's coming off a win over Jamal Hill also. So both these guys' last wins over Jamal Hill. They both styled on Jamal Hill. Yuri obviously finished them. Khalil Rountree 49-46, 50-45, whatever. He fucking styled on Jamal Hill's bitch ass too. And Jamal Hill, I'll say this about Jamal Hill. He hasn't been the same fighter since he fucking tore his Achilles. We all know that. I don't like Jamal Hill, but I'm just going to call it how it is. That guy hasn't been the same. But again, this is going to be fight of the night. I think I'm leaning Yuri Prochazka is going to win this fight by knockout. The one thing I say about Khalil Rountree, like if you are picking him, is who has he finished that's elite? Like look at his wins since he's been ranked. Who did he beat? Justin Jacoby. Finished Anthony Smith. But like, that's the one where he holds his fist up. But it's not like he's really flatlined anybody. He's knocked a lot of people down. I think he's going to pass Chuck Liddell for most knockouts at light heavyweight. But again, he hasn't really finished anybody who's elite or ranked. He had so many finishes when he was unranked. Like, remember Modestas Bukauskas with the oblique kick? I mean, he had that one like soccer kick on that one dude. Like, he has finishes, but no really elite ones. That would kind of worry me because, you know, as much as you want to say he rocked, you know, Pereira at one point, he still wasn't really close to finishing him. Not to say that he doesn't have the power to do so to Yuri, who is, you know, he's prone to getting hit hard. But Yuri's only been finished by Alex Pereira. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a fucking special dude to knock out Yuri Prochazka. I don't think Khalil Rountree is going to do it. I think what can get Khalil Rountree to win in this stuff is he just pounds away at the low kicks and just beats up Yuri Prochazka's legs. Because Yuri's not going to check a ton of kicks. We know that. But again, I think both these guys are going to get knocked down in this fight. I think Yuri probably gets knocked down early. But again, I just said but again twice. Higher pace fights, which I think is what's going to happen as this progresses. I lean Yuri Prochazka because Khalil Rountree, he likes to control the pace, use athleticism and quickness. It's just kind of outstyle you and fucking outpoint you and just he's fast with the punch. Like Jamal Hill is just so slow. His footwork shit. That's like Khalil Rountree's dream opponent because he doesn't even have to do that much because he knows he's so much more athletic and technical than him. But I don't think being technical in this fight is going to win this. He's going to have to match Yuri's intensity because slowing down in this fight and just kind of kicking the legs isn't really going to do anything. I think early round one, I think I'm going to take Khalil. I think he could drop Yuri early by working those leg kicks. But round two, round three, I think those leg kicks you'll see disappear as Yuri just kind of pressures him. And another thing about Yuri Prochazka, his head movement's improved, his general movement, and his movement in general has also gotten so much better. And he's going to mix in the front kicks. And then if you're Khalil Rountree, you're going to get desperate. You're going to overextend, and he's just going to crush your face in with a right. And that's kind of it. Again, Khalil's fast and explosive. He is black. You got to remember that. So he's naturally just so fast. And he's going to beat up Yuri Prochazka legs. I think that's definitely going to happen. I mean, they mentioned, whatever, in these pre-fight interviews, they've talked to Khalil Rountree talking about the leg kicks. And he's like, well, you know, you got to be prepared for anything. And Khalil Rountree, again, I love this dude. This is what MMA is about, this fight. Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree, two fan favorites, two guys who are just good-ass dudes. Yuri Prochazka, you know, he did that thing with that girl with cancer where he gave her, you know, $50,000 for chemo. You know, Khalil Rountree's been a big advocate for mental health. This is one of those fights where you don't want to see somebody die in, but you also do. You know what I mean? You're like, fuck, you want to see a great fight. You want to see a finish. If this went to decision after 3 rounds, I still wouldn't be mad. But listen, Khalil Rountree, he has so much scar tissue. Like when this guy gets beat up, he gets beat up. He looks like he gets mutilated in these fights. But another thing about Khalil Rountree is he fights like he owes you money. I see that on Twitter. They're making fun of him. But I think both these guys are going to get dropped. I think Yuri finishes him in round 3 by just relentless pressure. And he holds his hand so low and just going to crush you with the right hand. It's so hard to finish this guy. It's so hard to beat him because his timing and accuracy is perfect. As much as people want to talk about how crazy he is and stuff, he really is just so good. And if he wins this, Yuri versus fucking Big Onk, did I just spoil my prediction for the main event? No. But Yuri versus Big Onk, I could see that. Because I think Oldberg's going to be in a weird spot where the UFC is going to be like, we don't want to see fucking Ankalaev versus Oldberg if Ankalaev beats Pereira. Yuri versus Ankalaev at least will sell pay-per-views. I mean, I guess it'll be Paramount by that time, but it'll get viewers, you know what I mean? Again, I really hope Yuri Prochazka doesn't lose. I already saw Dom Reyes lose. I don't need another one of my fucking guys. Your Prochazka is one of my 5 favorites, too. This is really would be brutal. Your Prochazka, he's got Samurai Aura. And the only guy who can fucking kill him is Alex Pereira. Nobody else can do anything. This guy's chin, you can't finish him. So I think it's going to be tough for Khalil Rountree. I could see a world where he gets the decision, but I honestly don't think he's going to finish your Prochazka. I'm going to take your Prochazka by round 3 KO. I think there is money to be made if Khalil Rountree, with a Khalil Rountree KO. I think it's like plus 300 or something. So if you are to bet on this fight, and maybe you don't like Yuri Prochazka, or you don't like Khalil Rountree just to straight up win because there's not money to be made, take Khalil Rountree to knock him out. Even though I just outlined that he has no power. Not no power, but he doesn't have any real finishes against these higher ranked guys. Just do it anyway. Throw some money on it for me. Just to say that I called it for you. But again, Yuri Prochazka by 3rd round knockout. He's gonna just, he'll just counter fucking Khalil Rountree. He'll show relentless pressure. That's the deal. Sorry that it was kind of a mess at the end there. But anyway, moving to the co-main event. Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. Is anybody in their right mind taking Corey Sandhagen? I know how this is how we kind of go with most Merab fights. Where it's like, oh, I don't know, man. I mean, Corey Sandhagen, he's got good jiu-jitsu, the leg locks, bladed stance. We just talk all this bullshit. He's got these kicks, man. People forget. I don't want to hear that about fucking Corey Sandhagen. I like Corey Sandhagen, too. He's got a great resume. Let me read out some of the guys he's fought. I mean, this guy, he has so many good wins. Beat Figgy, old as shit. Beat Rob Font, Cheetah Vera, Song Yadong, that flying Eon, old ass Freddie Edgar. And then even had good losses. What I mean by good, I mean like lost to good fighters like Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan, and Umar. Like, he's a seasoned guy. I want to give Corey Sandhagen his respect as I glaze Merab for the rest of this. But is Merab by finish crazy? Because this guy with John Wood has been working a lot more on his finishing ability, and his striking has got a lot better. I know we like to clown Merab for what he does on the feet, but and just how good his wrestling. We don't clown him for how good his wrestling is, but you know what I mean. Like, we just want to talk about his wrestling and his cardio and his pressure. But his striking has got a lot better, and he's hard to fucking put out. He's hard to rock. And Sandhagen's a good striker. Like, he has good kicks. Could I see a world where he rocks Merab? Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And if it does, maybe it happens in round 1. But let me continue my Corey glaze real quick. I think Corey Sandhagen has a good skill set. Has a much better skill set than the guys previously we've seen him. Maybe not as good as Umar, but he's definitely better than Sean O'Malley in terms of matching up with Merab. Like, he has the leg locks. His jiu-jitsu's better. He also had good scrambles against Umar. And he has great foot positioning. I mean, we know he switches stances, like, especially southpaw. That's going to give Merab trouble because it's hard to shoot those takedowns in terms of, like, if you're shooting on a guy who's orthodox, like the hip positioning and stuff, it's harder to do it against somebody who's southpaw. And his ability to throw leg kicks, I think, could disrupt Merab. And also, again, he has good Granby rolls. His jiu-jitsu's better. And I could see a world where he takes a round just because of Merab having to adjusting to a southpaw. It's not like Merab's never seen a southpaw before, but I think Corey Sandhagen's good when he's in it. But I think really what it's going to come down to is Merab's pressure is just so relentless that I don't even think it's going to matter. And his ability to go for finishes has got better. He's better. He's been looking for submissions more. His striking has gotten improved. Like, he just throws so much output at you. He'll go 1, 2, blast a double leg. If you fucking stop it, he backs up, does the same thing. Maybe goes 1, 2, 3, then fucking blast a double leg. The single legs will also be there for him. And he also threw good shots at Umar and stung him. So I'm not slandering Merab's fucking his striking anymore, because he does have it. It's not necessarily the prettiest thing, or I wouldn't even say great, but he can do it. Corey Sandhagen's tough. He can scrap. I think he'll be more accepting to kind of being like, when the fight gets tough, I don't think he's going to get down. I do really think this fight's going to go to decision. I don't think Merab's going to get a finish. But again, I don't really think Corey can finish him either. I think if Corey's going to win this fight, I guess the only way is he just does that crazy flying knee, and that's how he wins. He is bigger than Merab, so he does have a height advantage, but that doesn't mean shit. Sean O'Malley's 5'10", 5'11". That didn't mean anything to him either. Again, Merab's going to be too relentless. He's hard to rock. Corey got taken down by fucking old ass Davison Figueiredo in his last fight. And that should tell you enough. I think Merab's just going to get him on the ground. He's just going to outwill him. Could there be a war where he takes his back and gets a submission? Yeah. And for Merab to say that he's going to do 90% of it, 90% of this fight's going to be striking, he knows that's bullshit, bro. But how funny would it be if he fucking knocked this guy out? He's the GOAT of the division for a reason. 49-46, maybe 48-47. I'm kind of leading 49-46. I think Merab's just really going to dominate this fight at points. I think Corey Sandhagen could maybe win a round with just being a southpaw and being difficult to take down. He does have good takedown defense, but it's not elite. You know what I mean? I don't think he's better than Umar. But I'm going to say Merab. I mean, this guy's just on such a fucking run. I don't really know what's next for him after this. I guess we'll kind of talk about that, you know, after tomorrow night. But I'm leaning Merab, 49-46 decision. If you want a little bit of money on this, just pick him to fucking get a submission. Why not? You know what I mean? We all love Merab. He's so entertaining. He's the fucking beast. He was talking about his Georgian balls in the press conference. Fuck yeah, Merab. He just made me such a big fan. And that's not just because he fights out of Long Island and also fights with John Wood. But, yeah. Moving on to the main card. The reason why most of you are here. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2 for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Listen, I'm going to do two different parts of this because this is going to be my longest part of the video. Magomed Ankalaev really should win this fight. I don't really know what Alex Pereira's... I mean, I do know what he can do differently, but I don't think anything is necessarily going to happen. I just think it's going to be so hard for Alex Pereira. He's the older fighter, and I think Randy Couture was like the last light heavyweight or something like that to be this old and then get his belt back. And that was back in 2004. Like, it just doesn't really happen. I think John Jones also did it. But, look, so the brain says Ankh, Big Ankh, and the heart says Alex Pereira. And I'll say this about Alex Pereira. People forget, man, how did this guy make 185? Look at his non-telegraphed calf kicks. This guy's a legit Amazon tribesman, guys. Guy was made out of mahogany, and he's a marauder, man. I just had to get my Roganisms out. But I really think what's going to be hard for Alex Pereira, and this is like, Magomed Ankalaev, there's no way he goes 0 for 12 or 0 for 13 on fucking takedowns again. He's got to get at least one. And I can say this. Alex Pereira's takedown defense was great. He was stuffing the takedowns, but then just getting stuck on the wall. He was getting controlled. And I watched this fight back recently. Because I was like, man, I remember how angry I was. I was screaming at the TV. Probably calling Magomed Ankalaev a lot of bad words. And, you know, the first round, I remember kind of how it actually played out. Where it was just calf kicks. Pereira probably won the first. The only round that was really dominant in terms of, like, you saw damage was the second round. The third round was close. Like, really nothing happened. It was kind of like, I think, control time again for Ankalaev. Fourth round was he had a lot of control time in that. And then Pereira landed some stuff in round 5. But it was so boring. I mean, I don't really know how this was a 49-46. I thought this was like a clear 48-47 for Ankalaev. Not to say there was anywhere where Alex Pereira should have won this fight, the last fight, because he shouldn't have. But, whatever. I do think Alex Pereira seems a little bit more focused. I don't really love how he's, you know, going after all this Twitter rage bait shit that, you know, Ali has put out on Twitter for Ankalaev. But there's been a little less needed drama. I mean, there's been a little bit, but she snakes her way in everything. And a little bit of less bullshit dancing videos. And then he also had the hair. He's keeping it. And then he just shaved it before the weigh-ins. And he kind of looked like the Punisher with the hair. I think he would have lost with the hair. I'm just saying. I think it's better that he shaved. And you also got to think, I will say one thing. The year of the Ankh. Volk got his belt back. Kamaru Usman's kind of back in the mix. You know, maybe that's by Alex Pereira. But realistically, I think Ankalaev, you know, he outstruck him in the last fight. And he really outboxed him. He won the outside foot position. You know, that his southpaw stance, Magomed Ankalaev, really takes away, like, any fucking, you know, effectiveness of those calf kicks. You know what I mean? And Alex Pereira was throwing him a lot in that last fight and really did nothing. Like, you could see there was some bruising early on, but he kind of had to abandon it because Ankalaev was just kept pressuring him. Like, Alex Pereira's back was against the cage for the majority of that fight. I forget what the pressure stats were, but Ankalaev's pressure was relentless. He does such a good job. His footwork is so good. But again, Alex Pereira was on the back foot pretty much the entirety of that fight, the first fight. He's not good off of his back foot. And southpaw Ankalaev is pretty much just parrying Alex Pereira's left hand for the entire fight. You could see it. He looks so much faster. Ank's better at throwing straight punches. And the one thing, again, Alex Pereira did have a decent round 5. And I don't really want to say Alex Pereira was hurt in the last fight. Maybe he had a broken hand. I mean, Joe Rogan was saying he had the fucking You know, people forget, man, Alex Pereira had the norovirus in the last, and he still went out there, and arguably he won. You know, Joe Rogan's going to say some dumb shit like that in the next, in the fucking pre-fight, you know, before these guys walk out. But I think his pressure and his winning of the foot battle is just so tough for Alex Pereira to overcome. Pristine footwork for Ankalaev. I do think Alex Pereira has looked a little bit more locked in his training videos. Yeah, he really does seem to hate this guy. The first fight, I didn't really like how he's bullshitting. I really thought Ankalaev had a chance to beat him. I didn't think it was going to go like the way it did. But I think Alex Pereira is just going to need to go out there, and this is what I would do. I would just throw fucking caution to the wind. Fuck stuffing these takedowns. Sacrifice some of your takedown defense. And I know if he gets taken down once, I don't think he's going to get finished by sub. Because he did survive on the ground against Jan Blachowicz, even though he didn't really do anything. But, and Ankalaev, he doesn't really submit anyone. But, Alex Pereira's just got to let it go. I think there's a lot going on for him to win this. I think there's a world where he comes out aggressive in the first round, maybe land something, and maybe we get to the second round and the takedowns land, and that kind of just slows the whole fight down. I think there's 3 ways this fight plays out. You know, it's kind of similar to the last one. Maybe Pereira's a little bit more aggressive, but Ankalaev just wins 48-47. Then I think there's a world where Pereira's a little too aggressive, and he just gets put out in like round 2 or round 3. I think those first 2 options I just named are the likely ones. I also think there's another world where Pereira's aggressiveness really benefits him, and he can just get in fucking Magomed Ankalaev's face and just say fuck it, and then he just knocks him out. I think that could happen, but I really do think it's going to be very similar to the first fight. I think Ankalaev's definitely going to land a takedown. His defense is just so good. I just think it's tough for Alex to hit him. And he keeps his chin down. It's impressive just how good his boxing is. I know it's not flashy or anything. Like, I'm not going to say I'm a Magomed Ankalaev fan, but I think he's just really tough to hit. I mean, Paul Craig's the only guy to beat him, and that was like a fluke sub. You know, Pereira got outboxed, he got outgrappled. You know, the calf kicks were so ineffective. But I think if he wants to win, he's going to have to let go some of that takedown defense, and that still might cost him. That's why I think this is such a tough fight for him. You're 38. You know, you can't really. I don't really think he could do much more. And I think his boxing defense also sucked. I mean, he felt like he's just so open. I know, you know, he always keeps his hands kind of down, and he always is open, mainly because he can make up for some of his defensive liabilities because he's so fast and he has such a good reach. But Ankalaev's faster. He outboxed you, bro. For him to say that Ankalaev didn't do shit, that's not true. He outboxed you. And I don't think he's the most exciting, but he's still got to respect somebody who's that good. And I don't know where these people who fucking hate Alex Pereira come from. This guy was such an entertaining champ. He saved cards. And let's be honest, again, Ankalaev's not that exciting, but he is very good. Finishing all this off, I just see Alex Pereira looking to be more aggressive. At least in the first round, he's going to come out there and swing. And I think he should just say, fuck it. Swing. Again, I'm saying that again. Alex Pereira just needs to throw fucking caution to the wind, and that's how he's going to win this fight. Here's what I'll say. For my official prediction that's going to be logged into Tapology, I'm saying Alex Pereira by fucking 4th round knockout. I'm not going against my guys on this channel. I know I went against Josh Emmett, but Josh Emmett's not really my guy. We're going with my fucking guys on this channel. Alex Pereira, we're staying with you because I actually really have 0 arguments for him winning this fight, as I had outlined. I think Ankalaev could do the same thing and still land a takedown, and that'll be enough. He could just win 48-47 decision. You know what I mean? He's more well-rounded. He has better footwork, and he wins the outside football. He's a better boxer. But I want Alex Pereira to win this so badly. I want to never see Ankalaev in an important spot again. Fuck this guy. He's boring. If you're betting on this, don't bet on Alex Pereira. And, you know, fuck it. If you want to make money, bet on Alex Pereira by knockout. Or just to win. He's a moderate underdog for this fight. All I'll say is, if Alex Pereira loses this, I'm going to be in a very depressive state. And I don't really know if I'm ever going to make a video again. But yet again, you know, that's kind of the price you pay when you fucking, you know, make these videos. So that's my prediction these are my predictions for UFC 320. Video, like, I don't know, there's so many people on here I like, so sometimes I kind of get lost in explaining and stuff, and I, you know, prepare a lot, so whatever. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about this main event. I'm leaning Alex Pereira by knockout in the 4th round. Something, he just counter shots, left hook, fucking drops him. Oh, Alex Pereira's champion again. But realistically, I think Ankalaev probably wins. But we're not, in my final internet archive, they're going to just see this. Who cares about what I'm saying about all my pros about Ankalaev? Alex Pereira's going to fucking knock him out by being more aggressive and throwing fucking caution to win. Fuck takedown defense. We're going for left hooks only. Shama. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're posting a lot on TikTok. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to keep getting better at these videos. I know this one was a little bit longer. But thank you guys all for the support. Anybody who's texted me. And thank you guys again. And Shama.